It's the MasterChef finals.
This is your last chance to kind of prove yourself.
We're looking for a great amateur cook who can make it as a professional.
Someone who can turn out exceptional food.
Winning's what matters at the minute, and I don't want to come second or third.
This is one tough competition.
I'm still gobsmacked that I made it into the final.
Whoever wins, it'll change their life. Cooking doesn't get tougher than this.
These three cooks are the best amateurs in the country. But only one of them will go on to become the MasterChef champion. Today they face the first of their final challenges, all designed to test whether they have the makings of a true professional.
The finals have arrived.
We're looking for someone who really can hack it as a chef.
First they'll have to prove their inventiveness and versatility with two dishes.
This is a dish for me that is actually showing a real skill.
Then they will have to cater for the 150-strong cast and crew of the BBC drama Waterloo Road.
Action.
With 1 week to go, which of these three can show the flair, imagination and skill to make them MasterChef?
The competition now is an intense thing. It is absolutely all you think about. There is no outside world.
I'm in the final three, which I never thought in a million years I'd be able to get to. So I'm pretty chuffed.
My desire to win this competition now, I don't think I can put any more desire onto it.
Starting from today, the contestants are no longer being judged as amateurs. John and Greg are looking for signs of true professionalism.
Your task today, I think, is very, very tough. Let's cook.
Today, the finalists have an hour and 10 minutes to create two very different dishes using the same main ingredient, pork fillet. They can also choose from a range of other ingredients, including parsnips, cider, spaghetti, pancetta, butternut squash, pui lentils, cabbage and sweet potato.
If you're not versatile as a chef, you will never succeed.
And if a supplier phones you up and he has a real bargain on, let's say, pork fillets, you have to be versatile enough to make many dishes out of this.
The difficulty today with the pork fillet they have is that it is not that flavoursome, but it has to be able to stand out. It is going to be the star of the dish.
This is a real test of their inventiveness, their versatility, their levels of skill and knowledge.
Ex-barrister James has an 18-month-old daughter, but has already left his career with the support of his wife because he's desperate to change his life.
I think I'm an adrenaline junkie. There's something about the kitchen environment that just sort of satisfies that.
He's proved he can master complex processes and has produced some stunning food.
I think it's sexy because it does amazing things inside your mouth, and all you want to do is go back and have another mouthful.
But he works so hard to show off his skills that he has a tendency to overcomplicate.
It's good meat and it's been nicely cooked.
But then it gets sort of besmirched by this very sharp, astringent red currant jelly.
I've always thought that wasn't competitive, but I have learned a lot about myself. Actually, I am competitive.
What are you cooking for us?
Basically, yeah, it's a stuffed piece of pork, Moroccan-y, Persian kind of flavour. I'm going to serve it with cabbage, and I'm going to have a bit of bacon and cream running through the cabbage just to give you some moistness. Dish two is basically just sort of caramelised sweet potato and some shredded pork in a tart.
What was your dream when you first came into the MasterChef kitchen?
I never thought I'd get this far. It's an absolute, dream come true, really, and I'm so pleased to have done it because I really just, want to end up in a decent kitchen, learning the trade. I remember the first plate of food I ever did for you. It was, your comment was, what an ugly plate of food, basically, and that's what I'm looking for today, something that looks so much better than that first time, and hopefully the flavours will be there as well.
James's idea of rolling the pork and stuffing it inside the paprika and the dried fruit in a Moroccan North African style, I think is fantastic. Serving it with creamed cabbage and bacon,
I don't think they marry. It's going to be a complicated flavour, that's for sure.
Get up and make yourself.
18-year-old Emily has been offered a place at Oxford University, but her prodigious talent with food is drawing her in a different direction.
I don't think there's anybody who's got a similar style to me in the world, actually, because it's just purely sort of individualist.
During the competition, she's made some spectacular and memorable dishes.
It is an ostentatious display of skills.
Emily has exceeded my expectations by some considerable distance.
But her inexperience holds her back, and some of her outlandish creations don't appeal to everyone.
I think it looks like an advert for a garden centre. I'd rather barbecue my own tongue than eat it.
I know I don't know it all, and I know I'm inexperienced, so I've probably got a bit more determination to try and rectify that. I do have the advantage of being young, and you know the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
So what are you going to serve up for us then?
I'm doing a pork mousse, and then I'm doing pork wrapped in pancetta with lentils.
Have you had to curb any impulses at all?
Virtually all of my impulses, actually, because I've never cooked pork before, so I'm going to have to try. So I have to be a bit more traditional because obviously I've never really experimented with it.
How do you approach a piece of meat you don't know?
I'm sort of having to think, you know, how can the pork come out, and like what techniques that have been used before can I use again in maybe my way.
Good luck with it. I hope it goes well.
Me too.
Pork on lentils with a sauce. Fantastic. But pork mousse, a sausage roll without any casing on it, I'm not quite sure.
You've got 40 minutes left.
Ex-banker and dad, Johnny, dreams of opening his own brasserie.
To make my restaurant happen, I have to win this competition.
He's a natural, instinctive cook who's proved he can make delicious, robust dishes.
It's just beautiful. Your food is fantastic.
But his lack of finesse and carelessness can be his downfall.
There's a few mistakes there, Johnny, I think. What has happened here is you have left some meat behind.
My respect for butchers and fishmongers and everything now has went up. It's a tricky skill to master. I've had good days and bad days, but I'm not despondent. I need to improve every stage. But yeah, I can start to smell the trophy now.
What are you cooking for us, Johnny?
I'm going to do a stuffed pork fillet, just sage and onion stuffing, it's wrapped in the pancetta, and that's going to sit on sweet lentils, which have been done in cider. And then I'm going to do like a carbonara.
Johnny, today, these two dishes, how are you going to elevate them from what we'd expect to eat at home to what we're going to be now eating in Johnny's place?
Wee things like the spaghetti needs to be cooked properly. It's not overdone by 5 minutes. It's not underdone. The lentils, again, they're not something that people use on an everyday basis.
Do you believe in your own style now, Johnny?
Absolutely. By focusing and concentrating on what I do well, it seems to be making a difference for me.
Johnny's got his piece of pork with the lentils. Fantastic. Rich, big, full of flavour. Absolutely brilliant.
15 minutes left.
With so much to do, Emily's forgotten about a pan she's left on the hob, and it's on the brink of bursting into flames.
Emily, no, don't move it, don't move it, don't move it. If you see smoke that thick, you're about to blow up. If you're about to blow up, stop the oxygen getting into it, otherwise it'll just ignite.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
You've got 5 minutes, guys. Time is up. Down your tools, please.
James has made a pork and sweet vegetable tartlet and pork stuffed with spicy fruit chutney and creamed cabbage.
The idea was to do two completely different dishes with your fillet of pork, and you've most certainly managed that. I enjoy the flavours, and they're sweet flavours.
The concept of sweet potato, butternut squash, pork and apple combination, absolutely right. Does it really need a piece of pastry?
I really like the look of this dish. The first texture I got was cream on my tongue. And when that went, what I was left with was very, very moist pork with spicy, tangy fruit and crunch of delicately cooked cabbage, which is delicious. But the cream scared me.
I like the flavours of the spice. I like the flavours of the fruit. I don't like the cream of the cabbage.
Yeah. My problems is that I overgilled the lily and I was tipping the cream in and I just thought you didn't need that. But I did.
Johnny has made pork and mushroom spaghetti carbonara and sage and onion stuffed pork fillet on cider pui lentils and cabbage.
We asked you to create 2 different dishes.
Yeah.
Show your versatility, show your skill. Now look at your 2 dishes, and both of them I want to really eat.
Okay.
The flavours are really good, because the sage stuffing is not overpowered. The lentils are flavoursome. The red cabbage is lovely and crispy and slightly sweet, and the pork flavour still comes through. The pork is overcooked. It's slightly dry, but this is a dish for me that is actually showing a real skill, Johnny.
I love that apple sharpness that comes with cider running through the soft cabbage and those lentils. I think that's wonderful.
Right, Johnny, let's move on. Well seasoned, all well cooked, all lovely and moist. It tastes good.
Creamy, slight cheesy, crispy and salty from the bacon. Really, really good tasting plate of food and really, really moist pork. And not a single problem or issue in the whole plate.
I could not have done this 4 weeks ago.
Emily's never cooked with pork before, but true to form, she's created an experimental pork mousse with parsnip puree and pickled apple, and pork loin wrapped in pancetta with piquant sauce.
You have done 2 very, very different dishes. Versatile, absolutely, but it's the mousse that scares me. The pickled apple is sharp. The parsnip is lovely and sweet and creamy. The pork mousse is pork sand. Taking a piece of pork and trying to make a mousse out of it, because it's already a grainy meat, is going to be very difficult. Chicken, OK. I knew you were applying the principles of a chicken, but they are very, very different.
Unpleasant because it is so grainy, but the tang of that apple is gorgeous.
Your flavours are bang on. It's just a bit dry.
I should not be chewing any piece of meat for that long. It's going the right way, it's the right idea. Again, it's just bad execution.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with the mistakes I made. It was pretty minging, the pork that I put out. The mousse was a complete disaster.
Good day today, guys. Thanks very much. That task today is seriously tough. These guys want to make it a professional world, they are going to have to work like this. This is what it's all about.
They show versatility. Very, very impressive field of 3.
Emily's concept, I think, actually is right. You look at the way the dish is designed. The time it takes in her head to get that together is brilliant. The girl gets the idea of what goes together.
Absolutely nothing wrong with the concept today and the design of Emily's food. There was a problem with the execution. She's not used to handling the pork.
That mousse was not right. It just wasn't right.
Today, my sort of inexperience really showed. And I think that I'm really going to have to, you know, step up my game in order to, you know, carry on and progress.
What about James, then?
I think his tart was good. I think it was flavoured really, really well.
Cooked well, tasted great. Forget the pastry, James.
James's pork with the paprika and the dried fruit inside was lovely. Then he cooked the cabbage in cream.
The little mistake like adding cream can completely destroy his dish.
I was going to leave the cream out, and I don't know why I didn't. And I did R about it today, and I should just listen to my instincts instead of sort of trying to overdo it.
The chutney, however, was really, really good. It was rich, it was deep, it was fruity, and that's why James is one of our finalists. Shall we talk about Johnny? Bowl of spaghetti and that pork were the two most restaurant-saleable plates of food in the room. I love the idea of that pork with the sage stuffing in it, but it wasn't quite moist enough.
I love that spaghetti dish. Perfectly cooked spaghetti, really moist bits of pork, absolutely perfect dish.
Such a good day. I think it's put me up a couple of places as well where I maybe thought before I was lagging behind. I don't think I'm lagging behind anybody now.
This is only day one of the finals. There's a long way to go and a lot to prove. It's 7 a.m. and our finalists are driving across the country to their next challenge.
We are at a stage which is so close to the final. I mean, I have to give 1,000% into everything I do now.
Every time a new challenge comes along, they're getting harder and harder. And so you've got to keep the pace up. You can't just sort of level out and plateau.
I absolutely want to win. Of course it's nerve-wracking, of course it's terrifying, but I'm just so fired up for it.
Their destination is Rochdale in Lancashire and the set of BBC drama Waterloo Road, where 150 cast and crew have been hard at work since dawn.
Action!
The contestants are about to be stretched to the limit as they have to prepare and cook lunch for these 150 people, all with very different expectations.
They have to be versatile today. The cast and crew on Waterloo Road is so varied. From a gaffer, for a runner, to somebody who is a star in the show and a producer and a director.
It's focus and it's timing. It's managing to keep the balls in the air mentally.
Will our guys be able to fulfil that expectation?
Keeping a close eye on their progress is head caterer Dave Chorley.
We've got a lot to do today. We've got 150 people to feed in 4 hours. So get cracking.
The contestants only have half an hour to design a varied menu from the supplies they've been provided with. They have to make 3 main courses, 1 meat, 1 fish and 1 vegetarian option, a potato side order, 3 vegetable side orders and 2 desserts, all from this single catering truck. The first thing they have to decide is what to cook.
So there's feta cheese in there, so that's perfect. You know, feta cheese and butternut squash lasagna.
So you're on that, yeah?
Yeah.
Who's going to do the salmon? Do you want me to do that? Yeah, I'll do the salmon. Yeah. So what else we got to do? You got to do pork chops, mate.
They've decided that Johnny will make pork chops with mushroom gravy and crushed potatoes. Emily has designed a vegetarian dish of butternut squash and feta cheese lasagna and will also make apple crumble. And James will be making Thai-style salmon fillet with rice, stir-fry vegetables and a rhubarb syllabub.
Come 1 o'clock, we'll have a queue snaking round the corner here. If these guys are not ready, the crew will not be happy at all.
With only 3.5 hours to go, James organises the cooking to try and make sure everything will be ready by 1 o'clock.
OK, well, let's have a little conflab, see where we are. So, you just crack on with your squash. While the butternut squash is roasting, you make your roux next. Veg, I think we're going to have to go simple. Steamed broccoli, carrots are being peeled. Yeah. And when's your sauce going to get done and when are you going to fry your chops? The real challenge today is just getting it out on time. It's just, these guys are going to want it fast.
The contestants are just getting to grips with the task when they learn of some special dietary requirements which adds to their workload.
My third assistant director is allergic to dairy, allergic to wheat and vegetarian. And she's allergic to citrus.
We need to feed her.
Yes, we do.
Is wheat intolerant, dairy intolerant, cheese and milk intolerant, vegetarian and citrus intolerant. So we've got to do something for her.
Make her an omelette.
I think it's omelette, mate.
Meanwhile, Johnny makes a start on boning his carcass of pork.
to do today what I haven't been able to do previous tasks, which is butcher meat. I want to get things simple, get it done and get out of the road, so I'm ready to go for once.
Johnny's already feeling the pressure when James comes up with an idea to make the dish more interesting. He wants to take the skin off the pork and roast it to make crackling.
Doing what you're doing with the chop, lovely.
Yeah.
And just crackling the skin and serving that with your mushroom sauce. The more fat on it, the more flavour you get out of crackling.
Yeah.
Just portion it up into how you would serve it.
So roughly the same size as you would get for the chop?
Well, what I've done in the past is like space it out on a baking tray, cover it in salt, chuck it in.
Yeah.
Johnny takes James's suggestion on board and makes the crackling.
I'm going to do 60 portions. This is feeding the masses, and that's the thing where it's really hard to comprehend is how long that takes to do it. It's an all-day job that we're trying to push into 3 or 4 hours.
And action!
There's just 2 hours to go until the crew breaks for lunch. Determined not to repeat her chaotic cooking yesterday, Emily's worked hard. Her lasagna's in the oven and she's starting dessert.
So your vegetarian lasagna's made?
Yeah, I'm doing the apple crumble. I've just been really focused and just, focusing on doing one job at a time and, getting everything together. And, if you're focused, you can sort of whiz through things faster. There's so many different elements of the things we have to do today. It's just getting that all coordinated and making sure that everything's finished on time. We got major limitations on time just because of the sheer quantity of the numbers we're doing and the amount of food we're doing. You've just got to keep at it and go really as fast as possible.
But with so much going on, Johnny hasn't kept an eye on the fat dripping off his crackling.
Fire extinguisher. We need a fire extinguisher.
I can't believe that. We've burnt the kitchen down.
At the last minute, James comes up with an idea to improve his salmon main course.
I'm going to pour some sauce over it to keep the moisture in.
They will not want to wait.
That'll take 2 seconds, Chef.
He wants to marinate the salmon before cooking it, but he's learning that when catering for 150, compromises have to be made.
I'd get that in now. Yeah? Get it in now.
Well, in the oven?
Yeah.
And then hot plate it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because we're going to run out of space.
Yeah. I'm running out of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Emily, have you checked your lasagna?
Yeah, it's getting there.
Give me your time.
About 30 minutes.
I'll hold you to that.
Meanwhile, the cast and crew have been on set since 6 a.m. and are working up an appetite.
1, 2, take 1.
And action.
Just half an hour before lunch, and James decides he wants to cook the stir-fry during service to keep it fresh. Once again, the chef has to remind him of the limitations.
What I'm going to do is, as we go, throw handfuls of it in. Because if we stuck it all in early...
You ain't got time in this game, you
really?
just don't know. No, you haven't got time.
You are serving. How are you going to do that when you're serving?
You've got 140 people queuing up outside. There's 3 of you serving. You've got to get them through in half an hour.
We've got to throw it out. I mean, in the nicest possible sense. We've got to throw it out. There's 150 people. We've got to eat incredibly fast. So it's a bit tense, I think.
Who's on the potatoes now?
I'm doing the potatoes now, Chef.
15 minutes, cleared down, ready to go, guys. Come on. 5 minutes for that pak choy.
We've cut there, thank you.
So, OK, gentlemen, ladies, that's lunch, everybody. Thank you very much.
Think about your service, guys. They're 2 minutes away.
150 hungry cast and crew all head for the truck, and there's only 30 minutes to feed them.
If you've been at it since about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and all you've had is a bacon sarnie, I mean, everyone here, especially the guys who have to hump equipment about and everything, need a fairly hearty lunch. But it's always a question, really, of not trying to go over the top. I mean, simple food cooked simply will always do. But who knows? The proof of the pudding.
So you please. Can I have the pork, please? Can I have the salmon, please? Some potatoes.
Pork chop, please.
Emily's lasagna suffers an early knockback. On seeing it, the customer changes her mind.
Actually, it's all right. Can I please have the salmon? No, it's fine.
while both James's salmon and Johnny's pork prove popular.
It's a very good, well-balanced menu, and I think we're selling even portions of the salmon and pork.
Finally, Emily gets an order for the lasagna.
No one's had any yet. Yeah, no, go for it. It's really nice. I'm having it. Yeah.
How about have the salmon? Just broccoli, please.
The third assistant director, who has special dietary requirements, arrives.
There was an intolerance, food intolerance.
James quickly puts together an omelette that meets her needs.
Yeah, it's going okay. We've just got a lot of people to get through. We've got to be much faster. We're doing it as fast as we can, but
Looks
quite
great.
hot this side.
Thank you very much for that.
But what did the cast and crew think of their choices?
I had the salmon today for my lunch, which was very nice. The meat was lovely.
Pork, really nice. The meat was very tender, and the sauce was very tasty.
I chose the salmon, and it was cooked beautifully. Very happy.
It was extremely good. It was very nice. Just goes to show them what you can do off the back of the truck.
15 minutes into service, the last main courses are being served, but the first customers are coming back for pudding, and the compliments are flowing.
And I have to say, that lasagna is superb.
Oh, thank you very much.
I had the pork chop and it was great. But you know what makes all the difference is having the crackling on the side. I loved it.
Yeah, both my kids just are Bob the Builder fanatics, and it was actually a bit of a hero worship to serve Bob the Builder, which I'm really pleased today. Everything's going well.
The food's gone down well, but what did head caterer Dave think?
Dave, seriously tough day for our three finalists. In general, how'd they get on?
Very well. Yeah, they worked as a tight team. They kept the cool under pressure, and they produced the goods at the end of the day. Very impressed.
Emily's dish, butternut squash lasagna as a vegetarian. What did you think?
I think Emily is an innovative cook. Combining those ingredients together was very good.
This whole challenge is all about versatility. Being able to, go from cooking, fine dining to go into the back of a van and, knock out some nosh for, the TV crew.
What did you think about Johnny?
Johnny got the pork. He boned them out pretty well. A bit hesitant on how everything should be. Very wary of making that big mistake.
The final's getting really close now, and I do want to win this. James and Emily are great guys and they're great cooks, but I'd give anything to win this now.
James?
James' only weakness was wanting to perfect his meal in that situation. There's certain compromises you have to make in certain situations, and he was reluctant to make those compromises. But obvious team leader, every team needs a leader, and James was organised, very good.
Today, for me, was important that I didn't get too complex. It's been a great learning curve, that one for me.
Who impressed you the most?
That's James, definitely. I think he's got food running through his veins. It's in his blood.
Tomorrow's test will be even tougher when James, Emily and Johnny find themselves catering in the jungle in 80-degree heat for the British Army, 5,000 miles away from home in Central America.